Hey everyone, Ben from Living Survival, and today we're going to talk about what might be the best option in paracord, Titan SurvivorCord. So stick with me. So we all know how useful cordage can be in a survival situation, not only in an urban environment, but especially in a wilderness environment. You can use cordage for all sorts of things, such as lashing, traps, fishing, all sorts of things. And now it's even easier with Titan SurvivorCord. You get lots of different options bundled up into the regular paracord that you and I are used to. Titan paracord, however, has a product in addition to their regular high quality paracord called SurvivorCord. And what this is it's 550 paracord, but then you get 3 additional strands in there. You have a copper wire, you have waxed jute twine, and you have fishing line, which is awesome, making it multi-purpose, even more so than just regular cordage, and perfect for keeping in your kits. So I previously reviewed some pretty cool paracord from Live Fire. It was their 550 fire cord, and what's cool about that is it had the one strand of waxed jute twine in the middle so that you could rough up and use it for tinder. The only problem with that stuff is that it's very expensive. Well, Titan paracord is cheaper, and it has 3 additional strands in addition to the 7 strands that normally comes with 550 cord. With Titan paracord, you get a 25-pound test monofilament fishing line, which is plenty for small panfish and on up to, you know, largemouth bass and things like that. You can certainly get the job done with 25-pound test. You get a strand of copper wire. Now it's 30 gauge, so it will break if you pull on it, but you can double this stuff up, double or triple or quadruple, however much you want, and you could certainly make snares with that doubled and tripled up. It's not going to work, however, if you just try to use it as a standalone strand. Copper wire is also certainly useful for conducting electricity or just using as sort of a binding cordage when you're wrapping something together. Then you also have a piece of waxed jute twine, which is great for starting fires and useful as tinder. So then what's left is the 7 strands that you typically would see in 550 paracord. And these by themselves can be pulled out and tied together to make even longer cordage, and you could even unravel each of these strands into smaller strands, tie that together, and then you can make yourself a really long bit of cordage if you didn't need the full strength of the 550 cord. Now, just like the fire cord that I reviewed, this stuff does bunch up sort of as well because it's got that copper wire in it and the jute twine. So, you know, it may not be the best for bracelets or lanyards, although it would certainly work, but just having this stuff as the paracord portion in your kits is awesome, having that additional capability that it provides. So one of the things I wanted to know when I first got this stuff was how well you could cut it. Having that copper wire in there and the fishing line and the twine, does it cut just as easy as regular paracord? And the answer is yes, you can cut it just as easy as regular paracord. So another thing I wanted to test out was whether or not those 3 additional strands, the fishing line, the copper wire, and the jute twine, would break or snap in half under tension when using the line as a ridge line, for example, or maybe even rappelling with it, or something more heavy duty that you would use paracord for. So I've tied this really tight in between 2 trees, and I'm just going to give it a bunch of weight, and we're going to see if anything snaps on the inside. You can see it stretched out a little bit just from my knots on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and tension that back up as best I can. And then we're going to try it again. I'm actually going to try to, I can hang from it. Alright, so I untied the line, and I'm going to go ahead and take the outer casing off, and we'll have a look at the inside. Looks like we might have a breakage. Yep, the jute twine is broken. It doesn't look like the copper wire snapped yet. Let's keep going here. Now this was about 15 foot or so. Copper wire's still intact. Kind of got to keep stretching this cable out to be able to get it off of here. Alright, so the jute twine's broken there too. Keep pulling the rest of this off here. This SurvivorCord has a really nice outer sheath to it. It's a really high quality paracord, even without the inner strands in there. And the jute twine's broke again there. So far, I think that's the only thing that's broken. Copper wire, nope, still intact. Jute twine broke again, which is really not a big deal. I mean, if you were pulling the jute twine out, you're gonna break it and rough it up anyway. It's more important that that fishing line stayed together. The copper wire too, I mean, unless you're using it for electricity, if you're gonna use it for a snare or something, then you're gonna double it up anyway. So it wouldn't really matter if it broke too much. I gotta be getting close here. Okay, there's the end. Alright, so the jute twine broke in several spots, and here's the copper wire and the fishing line. So let me try to separate that here from the 7 inner strands. Okay, it looks like the fishing line and the 30 gauge copper wire stayed intact through all that tension. As I said, the jute twine broke apart, but that's okay because you're going to rough that stuff together to create tinder anyway. Now when you pull the sheathing off of this 550 cord, you want to hang on to all of this because this makes excellent cordage as well, and it's very strong even by itself. So here's what's left of the 15 foot. I've got my fishing line, which was very easy to separate and very easy to coil up. Definitely handy, very useful at 25 gauge. Got my copper wire here. Again, maybe not useful in single strand form as a snare, but doubled up or tripled up and twisted together, this would easily be able to make a pretty decent snare. Again, you could conduct electricity with it, all sorts of purposes for that. And then of course you've got your outer sheath, which makes great cordage by itself, and all the inner strands, which you can lash shelters together with and do all sorts of things with this as well. So what's left is the jute twine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to rough this up really good and make it into a tinder ball, and then we're going to see if we can light it with a ferro rod. So how I process this down would be the same as I process any stringy tinder down, such as cedar bark or just regular jute twine. I'm just going to ball it up and rub it together, and you're going to see that the little strands will start breaking and it'll fluff up really nicely. Just keep kind of rubbing it together and twisting it. You can kind of pull at it a little bit. You know, what you want is you want it to just separate all apart and break apart and just get real furry and get lots of little hairs and lots of surface area that'll catch that spark. So I'm going to continue to just work this down until it's a fluffy ball. So the more you process this down, the better. But I think that's probably good enough. So we'll see. It's going to take a spark here. One little spark. And you see that stuff works great as tinder with that wax in there. It's going to burn long and hot enough for you to get some small sticks, and some small kindling on there and get your fire going. And you can see that this 15-foot strand burns for quite a while. Plenty long enough to get something else going. So hope you guys enjoyed that video today, taking a look at the Titan SurvivorCord. Now this comes in all different colors. I'm going to leave some links below to their website. They also do sell regular paracord, which is very high quality if you want to pick up some of that as well. I like that they put the little Velcro fastener on it to keep it nice and organized. And price-wise, you're going to be surprised as well. This stuff for 100 feet will only run you 25 bucks, which I think is a great deal. Typically, good high quality paracord will run you about $10 or so for a 100-foot roll of paracord. So with the additional stuff that you're getting in here, I think it is worth paying double for it. It may or may not be to you. Taking a look at that live fire cord, however, it's 40 bucks for a 100-foot roll. So definitely a much better deal with the SurvivorCord than the 550 fire cord, because in addition to that waxed jute, you're also getting that 25-pound monofilament fishing line and the 30 gauge copper wire. I'm also going to put some links to Amazon. Anything you purchase off of Amazon through my links does help support the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Please give it a big thumbs up for me. Leave me some comments below. In the comments section, I do try to reply to each and every comment that comes in. Please share this video to your friends and family who might be interested on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can click show more so that you guys can follow me or like my pages on social media, Google+, Facebook, and Twitter as well. As always, guys, if you haven't already done so, please click that red subscribe button for more videos.